Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Principal Talk series. The Principal Talk series is an initiative for parents and the broader community to gain insight into leading schools and their offerings. It's a platform for school leaders to communicate their vision, programs, and educational philosophies. I'm Sandhya Viswan, and we are kickstarting this series featuring Ms. Jyothi Menon, who is the head of school, EKYA ITPL branch. Through our discussion today, we're trying to gain insights into the school's infrastructure, academic curriculum, extracurricular activities, student support services, and the main role that a parental involvement is in fostering a dynamic educational experience. So without further ado, let's explore more on EKYA ITPL branch. Good morning, Jyothi ma'am. Welcome to the series.
Good morning, Sandhya, and thank you so much for inviting me.
So starting with one of the main features that parents ask about, could you describe the school's infrastructure, including, library, laboratories, sports facilities, and if you have any special learning resource centers?
Okay. So our school was started in 2012. And our campus is something that we are I'm really proud to talk about, and our children are also happy to be part of that campus because our campus is really beautifully designed, and it's designed by an architect, Mr. Sandhya Viswan, and he's given a lot of emphasis on light and air and no dark corners in our school. So our school is not so large that you can get lost, and neither is it really small. So that's something I tell parents always when they talk about safety and security. Our school is pretty open that way. And we have something called the central spine, which literally connects from one end to the other end. And if I'm standing in front of my office, I can see till the end of the... Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can literally see till the end of the school. So there is a lot of emphasis on, like, you really don't need electricity, you don't need the fan. There's a lot of movement of air. Our spaces are open. Our classrooms have doors with glass paneling. So it's pretty nice and open and airy. So infrastructure is something I'm really happy about.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The sports lab.
Yes, we have labs on the 4th floor, and pretty large labs. Our science labs are on the 4th floor. Our computer labs are on the 3rd floor, and children, senior school always does. They're always part of the labs, but even the younger ones, they go to the computer science lab, and the teachers are encouraged to use it as much and as frequently as possible. And they're pretty large and interesting for students.
Okay.
Apart from that, we also have social studies lab and math lab, a math lab where the young children, the younger ones, are taken for various hands-on activities, because literally doing is learning, especially for math. So they take it for all the activities over there.
That's very interesting that you have labs for math and social studies as well.
Yes.
I will be coming to that program because that's a very unique feature that I'd like to speak more about. Regarding also when it comes to the infrastructure, the playground, or what, that is one main thing that mostly parents are looking for.
Okay. So one part of the infrastructure that I forgot to mention is our pre-primary area. So we have a lot of spaces. We have EKYA spaces where children come, experiment, learn. They're able to touch and see and feel. So there's the pre-primary classrooms, the Montessori classrooms and the kindergarten classrooms are on the ground floor. And that is where they have their sand pit and the EKYA space that I spoke to you about, and a lot of hands-on activities. And we really encourage, because we feel children need to touch, learn, see, do and learn. Apart from that, our sports ground, we have our assembly area, which we've been using, that's large enough to be used for their physical education. But we're thrilled to share now that our sports ground has been inaugurated. So that's just going to be inaugurated, and we're waiting for that to happen. That's happening on November first week, and we're going to have our first sports day in our school. So we're really looking forward. It's quite a big ground, and we're looking forward to that. And there's a lot of excitement right now because students have started practice. So we've always had sports day, but we've always taken them to CMRIT. We take them to CMRIT for a sports day. But here, this is going to be a little different because it's going to be in our school, and we are waiting for that sports ground to be inaugurated.
I'm sure everybody, including the children, are very excited to have it at their own campus.
Children, parents. So we're going to have basketball and enough ground for enough space for football, basketball, track events for the practice, all of that. So we are waiting for that. Apart from that, we also have a lot of indoor game space for that. But yes, ground really helps.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another main thing after the infrastructure that the parents usually look for is, the curriculum and the learning program. I am aware that all the EKYA schools have a board agnostic program till grade 7. But post that, each of the branches have a different board that they are affiliated to. So first, I'd like you to let me know what EKYA ITPL, which boards they offer in high school, and then also speak about the unique program that is EKYA's program from, maybe kindergarten to grade 7, if I understand right.
Okay. So ITPL is CBSE. As you rightly said, we EKYA schools are a mix of CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and all of that. But till class 8, ITPL, till class 8, we have the same. We have our own curriculum, which is designed by our own curriculum team. It's spearheaded by Dr. Trishta Ramurthy, and it's a very till class 8 we have our curriculum. 9 to 12 we follow the CBSE board curriculum. Okay, so till 8, from pre-primary to class 8, our vision is to empower young minds to make a difference in the world. So everything that we do stems from that vision. So we want our students, whether it's teaching them English or math or science or whatever it is, everything that we do in school, we have that vision always in mind. As Dr. Trishta always reminds us, she always asks us to visualize students of 2037, where will they be and what will they be doing? And are we equipping them with skills needed 10, 15 years from now? Because we have to move away from rote learning. We have to move away from textbooking by heart, like what we used to do in school. The way we learned in school, we have to move away. So it's actually been a lot of unlearning for all of us who come from traditional schools. We've all had to learn, the teachers have had to learn. So our curriculum is designed keeping all these things in mind. We've taken best practices from various curriculum from across the world, designed our own curriculum, imbibed best practices that suit our children the best. And irrespective of the board, today the student could be in Bangalore, tomorrow the student could be in some other part of India or some other part of the world. Our children should not be restricted by any board. That is what is meant by board agnostic. We are not teaching them just to answer the board at the end of the 10th or 12th. So our curriculum is designed in a way where teachers teach through multiple resources. It's, as I said, it's not a textbook kind of a learning. Teachers teach in a way that students understand. Students have to understand the concept, apply skills to answer questions asked. So yes, that's in a nutshell.
I had visited one of the open houses and I found it very interesting. I saw these kits for various, even social studies, science, math, these learning kits that were part of the classroom learning, as well as these resource books. I did go through a few of them as well.
Resources.
And yes,
It's
I
been
found
designed by our
designed. Yes, it was very, the content was there, but I could see that more skill-based understanding of the concept was what was
correct.
built into,
Correct.
this whole program. Very, very interesting.
Teachers,
Yeah. So
teachers should be able to,
yeah. So more, I understood that, or I think that it's more of an experiential learning in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Also, as you
Absolutely.
said, maybe the connections are easier to make to the outside world.
Yes. Teachers are not just teaching. It's not a lecture method anymore. Teachers are not just coming to the class prepared with one particular topic and then delivering a lecture, and then students and then she writes the answers on the board, and all 30 answers look the same. It's not like that anymore. So teachers should be, could be doing, introducing the topic in multiple ways. It could be a flipped classroom. She could be sharing a resource link. She could be sharing a worksheet for students to do as part of homework. So students sit and do whatever the teacher, I'm just giving an example. They come to class the next day and they have a debate, or they have a small presentation, whatever it is that there could be a field trip also along with that. So it depends on the teacher and how she's best thought of that particular activity. So students come with some prior knowledge. Then based on their understanding of the knowledge, the teacher and the students all learn together and understand from each other, because there could be more than one way of explaining a topic. Right. And one way of understanding. So that is the kind of learning that we have, and it starts from as young as our Quest program in pre-primary. In pre-primary also, it's a very hands-on learning where students, very young students, are encouraged to think. They are introduced to topics, topics that are age appropriate, and the teacher and the students have discussions on the same, and it's really the most interesting part of the pre-primary curriculum. Right. Okay, so on that note, the word quest also reminds me of an inquiry-based model, and I assume that's what is happening even in the preschool there. And for teachers, okay, to run this program, you really need teachers or educators who understand. So my question leads next to that on how, what about the teachers or the talent at EKYA ITPL? How do you identify these gems who are more of facilitators rather than teachers? And also in Bangalore, the attrition rate is very high. Though a very thing that I noticed is at EKYA, the most of, at least the heads, have been in the system for quite some time, which is very interesting as well. So if you could just throw light on the talent that you have, the team that you have, because it's important. That's very important to run the whole program. One single person cannot. Vision is there, but how do you implement it? Correct. So as you rightly said, and this is something that parents always do ask me about attrition. And I'll give the same answer that I give to all parents. So attrition will happen. Right. It happens everywhere. It happens in all any organization, and it's not just related to school. Now, having said that, what I always tell parents is, maybe a teacher, we are largely a women-centered organization. Teaching is still very much a woman's forte, unfortunately, though I'm very happy and excited to say that we have a lot of men who are joining our teaching organization. So we're really very happy. We have about 6 to 10 men who are teaching various subjects, so it is changing, but it is still 10 to 20%. The remaining 75%, let's say, are largely women. Now, women tend to leave organizations for a number of reasons. I mean, we are women, so they're either starting a family, they have their own family to look after, they're getting married, husband is getting transferred. Now, you just cannot help it, and it's always the woman who's having to,
Sacrifice.
step down and make that change and sacrifice. Okay, yeah. So that cannot be helped. So there will be teachers leaving. So they're not really leaving because of a particular school, whether the grass is greener on the other side. That also happens. But what I always tell parents is, even if a teacher has left, what you should see and what we always do is we make sure that academic hours are not lost for children. Student is not typically having a free period or free periods at home. They cannot go home and tell their parents, teacher's not there, so we just didn't, nothing happened in school. I don't think that can ever happen in our school. It's planned really well. We have coordinators who ace up, they go and take classes. We actually take people from our universities, from CMRIT. We've had instances. That's why I'm able to say that. Suddenly, if we've had a teacher who's left, and we've taken help from other, of our sister concerns, and we've made sure that students have not lost academic hours. Portions are completed. They're ready for the next level at any time. And to answer the other question, yes, teachers have to, as I said before, there's a lot of learning and unlearning. First unlearning and then learning that happens for teachers. So they really go through really long PD hours. There's a lot of professional development that happens in school. In fact, as I speak, our teachers have just finished about 2 hours of PD today, and there is continuous professional development happening, training happening, observations happening. The leadership team, the head of school, the coordinators, members from the EKYA Learning Center, we sit and observe teachers to understand, not really to check on the teacher, but just to see whether the lesson is being implemented in the way it was planned, and whether students are able to understand in the way we want them to. And if there is anything else that needs to be changed, which is not going right, we'll make the necessary amendments in the curriculum. And also, I think a lot of support has to be given to teachers to, help them, get them to understand, because every school has a different way of teaching.
Yes.
So even when teachers are coming from other schools or from other states, they need some time. So a lot of support, a lot of hand holding, a lot of guidance is given to them continuously.
Wonderful. You spoke about the support to teachers. So now the next question is the children also. So today, with especially in Bangalore and cities like Bangalore, where both the parents are also very busy, the emotional, social support is sort of expected at the school also. So does EKYA have a program, or is it like weaved into the program? So how would you explain that?
Absolutely. We have a very strong wellness program. We have our life skills program. We have counselors in school, and we really encourage students to reach out to the counselor. And there is gender sensitization that happens from as young as pre-primary to grade 12. Now, the needs are different for each group, but there is very, conscious support given to students. Again, we encourage them to speak out against bullying, and we really take a strong stand on that. So support to children is really a very, very strong part of the culture, especially at EKYA ITPL. Our student support program is really strong, and if we find that students, and we always have students reaching out to the counselor, if we find that there is an alarming situation, very soon we reach out to the parents and inform them of what corrective measures need to be taken, because we very strongly feel that the school and the parents, home and home environment and school environment have to work in tandem to, help support our children, and today's children definitely need a lot of support, especially after 2 years of COVID. I think they need a lot of support. We
Right.
see all kinds of,
I was coming to that as
instances here.
well. Yes, I was coming to that as well regarding the parent involvement at
Yeah.
EKYA. How is it encouraged? How do you, to
Absolutely.
support the child as well, or even raising concerns? Is there a process? Are you open to parents coming, or do they have to wait till the PTM to be able to meet you?
Never. Never. So PTM is part of it happens twice a year, and that's part where they get to meet the teacher and they get an academic understanding of how the child has progressed. Now, prior to that, the parents would have reached out to the teacher or to the coordinator a number of times. They even reach out to me. So I definitely maintain a completely open door policy, and it's not just for parents, it's for students, it's for teachers, it's for everybody to walk in, and it makes my job a little difficult, definitely, but I feel we should be open. So I always have people walking in, and yes, it helps if they have fixed appointment. Their waiting period, parents' waiting period is reduced, but if there is an emergency, I put aside things and reach out to parents immediately. And parents are also encouraged to raise tickets in case they don't have time to come and meet us. There is a process for all of that. They raise tickets, and there are people monitoring all of that, and we ensure that tickets are closed within 48 hours. We try to close it within 24 hours. We reach out to the parents immediately. So that is, we don't wait for the PTI for sure.
Wonderful. Okay, that's very reassuring to prospective parents regarding that.
In fact, just after this, I have about 4 parents who are waiting, and it's not just academic related; it's something else.
That's
So
what I was
we are
asking.
very
Any concern that they can reach out to. One last question before I take the questions that are there in the chat box. If you could just explain the admission process at EKYA for anybody who's looking for admission, prospective, on what is the process? Is there a timeline when they need to?
Admission process has already started, actually. It's already started, and we have our first open house is already over. Our second open house is just coming on the 29th, and the 29th of this month. It's a Sunday. We never do it on a Sunday. This time, for certain other reasons, we're doing it on a Sunday. And they have to apply. There is an application. We have an admission team who will reach out to the parents immediately. They will give them the dates for the open house. In case they're missing this open house because it is vacation period time, they will give them another date. Open house, we encourage all parents to come for the open house, because that is where they get to interact with all of us, all the leadership team, the head of school, the coordinators, all of us will be there. We'll interact with the parents. There'll be a presentation where we'll take them through the entire process of what the academic program in school looks like, and what the co-curricular activities and after school activities, all of that is happening. All of that looks like, and parents get a thorough understanding. They're able to see the campus. There is a campus, they can walk around the classrooms. So whatever I spoke to you about, the infrastructure and the labs and the physical spaces, they get to see in person. So there is an admission team who will, reach out to them immediately as soon as they apply. Right. And after that, there is an entrance test that happens for pre-primary children, for all grades. But the entrance test is not really to deny admissions. It is to see whether the child is ready for the level that the parent has applied for, and if not, then what the parent should be doing to help the child get there.
Understood. We did touch upon the extracurricular activities when you mentioned the infrastructure and the playground. You mentioned certain sport games. Is there any other extracurricular, activities like the dance and the art? Any that is specific?
So they have their extracurricular activities which are happening every month also. That is part of the co-curricular activities. So there are multiple competitions happening every month, and it could be either a literary competition or a dance or a singing or something related to art or computers or whatever. Every month there is one competition that's happening across grades. So parents will get enough time, and it's for all grades, even for the younger ones, for pre-primary children. So parents will get enough time, they'll be intimated well in advance, a calendar is shared with them, the month's calendar is shared with them, they'll get enough time to plan. Apart from this, we also encourage our senior grade students to participate in as many events as possible outside the school. The school encourages children. So we send children to other schools also to participate, because end of the day, we are preparing children to go to college. And what are colleges looking for? They're not looking at just a great track record in academics. They want to see what extra skill sets, what are the talents students have. So we definitely encourage students to participate in as many activities. And we want parents to understand that, and we want parents to encourage that as well.
Yes, it is important, as you said, to build up a very wholesome portfolio when they are moving to college, rather than just the marks, that you've gained on the board exams.
Correct.
So there's a question here. What are the school hours, and if there is any daycare or aftercare for students beyond school hours?
No, we don't have that, unfortunately, but our timings are 8 to 3.
8 to 3. Okay.
250. That becomes 3. 250. If it's a bus, then the bus starts leaving at around 3:05. That's why I said 8 to 3.
Okay. Yeah. I think CBSE also meant it's something similar.
More or less, yes. More or less. Give or take a 10-15 minutes here or there.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But we don't have a daycare.
Oh. There's another query which is a little unique, but I will try to put it in a format for the viewers, because there might be others. So when children are moving from abroad and looking for admissions, the academic year starts in June here, versus many US, they are ending by then.
Correct.
So how does the question basically is about the grades. If they have to move in June, they would be in another class there, but they've not completed that particular grade. So
correct.
So do you have or does the admission process keep this in mind?
So we have
from other countries, especially the international program is what I would think, because at least many of them come from Indian programs. So the academic year still starts in April there, a term. I don't know if it's changed now, but earlier they would have done one term, and then in June they would be moving to India, if it is. But this, I think the question is specifically about other countries where there's an international program.
Okay. So we continuously have children coming from, especially from US and Singapore and UK, and they have to complete the year that, like for example, I'll give you an example of, I just have an application in front of me. The parent has applied for grade 4. The child is currently in grade 3, and their academic record should say that grade 3 has been completed. And that we need. And grade 4, they join in the second term. Like right now, if the child is joining, the child is going to be joining from October once school begins after the break. They join us in the second term.
Second term. Okay, so that also brings me to one more question. So obviously, academic programs in different countries are also very different from what we have in India. I'm sure because you all are working on skill sets, it shouldn't be a problem. However, there is a possibility, like you said, the entrance test is to identify where the child stands so that you can support accordingly. Now, in such cases where they're joining in the second term, I'm sure there's bound to be some sort of I don't want to call it a gap, for lack of a better word. It's not a gap. It's probably just a difference between that program versus this program. Would EKYA be supporting the children to build on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, like I said, this is where our curriculum really helps, because as our board agnostic curriculum really helps, because as I said, our curriculum is designed in such a way that, typically what a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old child is studying in our school should be typically what a 9 or a 10-year-old child should be studying anywhere in the world. So we've not seen any gaps. Children are able to effortlessly, either way, when the child is moving from here to another country or vice versa, a child should be able to effortlessly, there are no gaps. Notice where there is a gap is the second language. There's always a gap there. And there, I think, so some of the parents I talk to, they tell me, it depends. That's very need-based, based on the child, because some parents are already aware that they're going to be moving to India, so Hindi or whatever is Kannada needs to be, taught, and they would have already started the prep a lot earlier. Now, if the child really doesn't know, then we start off with the child on basics, and this is where our entrance test helps us exactly. And we tell the parents to start off on some kind of support, extra support at home, work on the basics, and then when they get here, the teachers definitely spend a lot of time on our remediation program. Children are asked to stay back longer, or maybe miss a few other classes, maybe just to catch up, and based on whether the child is comfortable. And we also make sure that the child will not, there will be a separate level of question paper for them. For that, we give them enough time to catch up. It's not fair to expect the child to answer, to be at the same
level
along with the peers. Yeah, it's not fair. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, so there's a question. I think the one was on second language, which you have already answered.
Because that's the problem.
Yes. And the other one is on the social studies, because again, I think that would be catering to the particular country where they're coming from.
That's okay. I don't think that should be a worry at all. That's fine. That's fine.
And also,
as I said, entrance test is not to really gauge what the child doesn't know, is just to see what level the child is at, so that we can help support. And social studies is fine, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. As an educator, even I believe as long as the basic skill sets of reading, writing, comprehension, and are in place, it's just 2 years of preparation for the board exam. Even if you've not studied that subject earlier, you can actually, because you have the academic skills, you can start preparing, and
that's true.
Board exams.
That's true. That's true.
So that has been answered. Is compulsory. Okay, what are the second languages that are offered at?
So we have Hindi and Kannada, and Kannada is compulsory. But ITPL, I'm speaking for ITPL only. So we have a largely Hindi-speaking community. So if I make Kannada compulsory here, then that might be a little challenging for parents as well, because as you said, most of our parents are working, both of them are working, and that, if a child has joined in grade 4, how does a child cope up? So we have our elementary Kannada classes. That is compulsory. That is done within school hours. And we ensure that the child, because Kannada is compulsory, we ensure that the child needs to learn the basics of Kannada. Read, write, understand, so that the child, in case, we don't know, in case next year, the government says it is completely compulsory, the child, then no option can be given, and the children are at least ready somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And we've come to the end of the session today. It has been really an eye-opener about EKYA ITPL and what is on offer there. I'm sure it has been helpful to all the parents who are looking at ITPL EKYA as an option. And thank you so much, Jyothi ma'am, for throwing light on all of these aspects. I'm sure, and we've also answered the questions that have come up. And to all the viewers who want to reach out and look at EKYA ITPL as an option, the school invite feed or the ITPL site, please, you can reach out to the school. I believe you have a portal where the admission can be registered. Yes. So is there a website that you can mention here, ma'am?
There is. There is. Are you?
Sandhya has got, I think ma'am has got logged out.
Ma'am.
They can actually log in to edit.com and search for ITPL IKEA and send an inquiry from there.
Yes, we'll do that. So thank you, everyone, and have a good day.